So good day. My name's Dalene Allen, Executive Director of BNI Nova Scotia. What's that? Business Network International. And I'm very proud to introduce one of our BNI members and an exceptional business person that you're going to want to meet. This is David Clarke of the Clarke Mortgage Group. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm thrilled. So who all is in the Clarke Mortgage Group, David?
Yeah, so there are 3 brokers on our team. So there's me, there's Paula Spencer. She lives in the Halifax area and covers that, and she's been in the industry for, I think, 12 years. And then Matthew Lepper is covering the Amherst area. And then Michaela Colburn is our fulfillment specialist. So she's the one that actually does all the work. But yeah, there's the 4 of us covering Nova Scotia, which has been a blast having a lot of people on my team.
Exactly. And you do have somebody bilingual on your team too.
Yes. Yeah, Michaela is.
Excellent. So that sure is great when you can offer services in 2 languages. So what does the Clarke Mortgage Group offer that makes them different? I mean, I could go on all day about that.
Well, one of the things that I think makes us different the most is just creative solutions. One of the reasons for that, I think, is I started off with a rural office in Truro, and just some of the different lending options you get in Halifax just isn't available in rural Nova Scotia. So I kind of had to think outside the box and learn these different things. So we take that approach to the whole market, but that's helping people that have gone through credit issues in the past. It's people that are building houses, people buying multi-units, all these different complicated things that sometimes some lenders and some brokers don't have experience with. We have lots of experience with. So really, it's just the creative options. I think that is the biggest thing that makes us different.
Well, and I can certainly attest to that, and the testimonials of other BNI members that you have helped people that have been turned down by other institutions. And just like you said, the fact that you don't put people in a box. It's like you are creative and offer so many more solutions. And that is again, another reason why we highly recommend David Clarke and his services. And so same thing, never hurts either to get a second opinion, does it, David?
No, it doesn't, especially because one thing that I always talk about is that you don't know how to do a mortgage for a business for self person that's had credit challenges until you've done it. So the most important thing when somebody has been even declined by the bank or declined by a broker, they may just not have come across it yet. So having second opinions or third opinions, I always recommend.
Absolutely. So give us some of the areas that you do cover.
So my main office is in Burnside. So Dartmouth is where I grew up. I live in the country now. So I have an office in Truro and Amherst. So those are our main offices. That being said, we can do all of Canada. I'm doing a mortgage right now in Yellowknife. So there is no restrictions on the areas, but office-wise, it's Dartmouth, Truro, and Amherst.
Excellent. So you're building an empire. I love that. So one of the subjects we could talk about, how has COVID changed your business?
One of the things that really changed was how I communicate with clients and my team. I was so used to being able to walk into Michaela's office and saying, okay, what do we need to do today? Which I just wasn't able to. So we put processes in place to keep track of things, to make sure that we know what everybody's doing. And it really elevated how organized we are as a company. It kind of forced us into this model where we have to keep track and we got to communicate and we have to really just, everybody needs to know exactly what everybody's doing. So it's actually helped my business that way. The Zoom meetings too, it's been very interesting. Meetings that I would have with phone calls, I'm now doing with Zoom meetings. And it's actually very helpful because you can talk to the client and you can see how they're reacting and you can actually have a conversation you don't quite have on the phone. So that has been beneficial too. It's also really made me think about my business and what generates income in my business. There's some brokers and bankers that focus only on purchases, and those are things that I think can kind of come and go in these type of situations. And then my book of business where I'm helping people consolidate debt, that's something that actually is going to be much more important to people right now and in September when the mortgage deferrals are up. So even just making sure that, I have a very diverse book, that's been very important during the coronavirus.
Well, and I certainly think any of us that are adapting our toolboxes will be a whole lot better. One of the things, though, during situations like this is, and with mortgage rates being good, is this also a great time to just have a second opinion on your mortgage and what your options are?
Yes, it is. So rates plummeted when the coronavirus happened, and then they kind of shot back up, and now they're back down again. So it is a very interesting time to look at your options and to see if there's anything better out there. So what I do in that situation is I look at the pros and the cons. I see, okay, this is the cheaper rate. This is the money we can save. This may be the potential penalty we have to do. This has to do the legwork we have to work with. And we go through it to see whether or not they're in a good product or whether or not we should switch them. But people's lifestyles change too. So it's not just interest rates sometimes, it's also flexibility. Are they going to move? Do they want to add an extension? Do they need a new vehicle? Is the kid going to school? All that stuff goes into that question.
Well, and rate then isn't always the most important thing, is it, David?
No, it has to be a solution. You have to have something that's catered to what you're doing. So the best interest rate in the market might be something that has very big restrictions on it. It might have high penalties to break. You might not be able to pay it off quickly. So those type of things just might not fit somebody's goals. And that's something that we always look at to make sure that the product they have, it needs to fit.
Yeah. Well, and certainly again, through referrals and recommendations from other BNI members, the fact that you really provide education for people, so they're not only getting the best possible rate, but also to provide flexibility, because we don't know what life happens, right?
Yeah, and flexibility is important. In my mortgage, I was locked in for 5 years, and in that period, I've had 2 kids. So goals just completely change when you're actually getting locked into something. So those are things you just need to consider when you're picking products. How's your life going to change?
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's within our control and sometimes not within our control. And so what you also want to be looking for at the Clarke Mortgage Group, and David Clarke on social media has some phenomenal training, educational components that he's posting. And I really recommend that you go there and have a look. So how can somebody reach out, David?
There's a few different ways to reach out. If you want to go on my Facebook page and reach out there, we're communicating through that daily. My email is david.clarke@mortgagegroup.com, and my phone number is 902-482-8808. Whatever way you need to communicate with us, we have it set up in every platform. My suggestion is, if you even have a slight kind of question of what you should do, just reach out. There's no harm in reviewing things. Worst case scenario, I can say what you're in right now is what you need to be in. And best case scenario is I might be able to do something that can really help. So yeah, reach out, even if you're just kind of curious.
Exactly. So David Clarke from the Clarke Mortgage Group and Dalene Allen from BNI. I hope you're having a fabulous day.